we're about to start the Next Generation Global Startup session. We're going to have on the stage with us amazing Gen Starters, founders from all over the world. They're part of the Gen Starters Club. It's a group of innovative, exceptional founders that we've identified from all over the world.
Just these two.
And what we do is plug them into the network. The Global Entrepreneurship Network has a network across 171 countries. So what we do with these exceptional founders is we plug them into different opportunities, like this whole week at the GEC, giving them a platform on the global stage, connecting them to mentors, really helping them get to the next level wherever they are in their startup journey. So up here with us, we have some exceptional founders who are going to introduce themselves shortly. You're going to learn a little bit about their companies. But here to moderate this discussion, we have some exceptional investors and founders themselves. We're going to have Chris Schroeder, author of Startup Rising. We're also going to have Jeff Nectarline, partner at New Capital. And I'll let them tell you a little bit more about them.
Good morning. I'm Jeff Nectarline, managing partner of New Capital. I'm based in the Washington, D.C. area. I do a couple of things. I'm an early stage technology investor in U.S. technology companies. I try to be seed or A-round investments, and it pans the spectrum of companies from data analytics to cybersecurity, a lot of software communications. I also am chairman of the board of Kartika Capital, which is also based in D.C., and we're an emerging markets manager. We invest in public companies in the emerging markets.
And I'm Christopher Schroeder, and I'm a venture investor as well. I do a lot of A and seed. Well, I'm in the process now of getting involved more in growth capital around the world. Startup Rising is about the amazing ecosystem that is in the Arab world, the Middle East. It is the most hopeful book on the Middle East you can read today. But much of what's happening there is, of course, happening across Africa and across emerging markets all over the board. I'm an advisor to 1776 in America, and I'm an advisor to 500 startups, among other things that I work with in Silicon Valley. So it couldn't be more exciting to get going. The time is yours, because you're the entrepreneurs. And what we're going to do today is each is going to speak very briefly about what they're going to do. Jeff and I will ask a question or two, and then we'll keep the pace moving, and it's going to be very exciting. So Konstantin, you want to start us off?
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Konstantin. I'm from BrighTap. Here's my partner, Ariel, in the help. So BrighTap is a smart water sensor that can be attached to any pipe type of hose. It's a connected device, and household can see the water consumption, water temperature, and the duration of the usage in the monitor, in the sensor, and an application. The purpose of our product is to bring efficiency, saving, and awareness of the water. We heard about data. Data is a new oil, and this is exactly what we are doing. We are collecting the data, analyzing them, and presenting to the household to bring the efficiency to our homes. Thank you.
So tell us where you are located, where you're selling, what your target market will be.
We are bootstrapping these days. We will launch the product in Q3 with cooperation with one of the German companies. The pilot will be in UK, and then Switzerland, and then German, and then United States.
I see. And the competition, what does the competitive landscape look like for that product?
These are several devices in the market. It started to be once we launch. We have a lot of advantages behind this product, so we are good with our technology.
What's proprietary about what you're doing? Is it in the technology? What is unique in the problem that you're solving?
We are combining some smart turbine developing in-house, but the concept, the new concept of bringing the water and bringing the smart water meter in the front of the customer, there's a new application.
Why do you think people care about that? Why do you think it matters?
Because water is a resource, and we see the water crisis is already there. We see it in California. We see in other countries. So the water shortage will come.
And who's your primary customer?
We have B2B as water authorities and the B2C.
And how have you been financed so far, and what does the model look like?
We are financed from friends and family, and these days we are bootstrapping with our money. And I hope next month we'll have the cooperation with a German company, and then we will be able to prepare for manufacturing, then they launch the product. We have some grants we received during our journey. So this money, of course, not enough to bring the 1000K units in the first batch, but nowadays we are looking to have the investment.
And revenue, when would that kick in, and what does the model look like for the next couple of years?
For me?
Revenue, sales.
The business model is based on the selling the product, but the main business model is based on API. We discovered this data, the consumption data in our houses, and it's very interesting and very relevant to several companies, like water authorities, and, for example, Unilever, that want to know and understand the customers. So the API is the main business where we see this. And again, to bring the efficiency and to bring the awareness to the water based on the water authorities.
Terrific, Konstantin. Billy?
I'm Billy Hadlow from Cape Town in South Africa. My company is called Kaya Power, and over the past 4 years, we've been developing energy-saving products, clean cooking solutions, and one of them is a multi-charger for taxis. I've realized that there's a big need for people that travel in minibus taxis. There's about 300,000 in South Africa, but the people can't charge their phones while they travel long distances. So I've made a multi-charger that's 3 meters long, and it's powered off the cigarette lighter of the taxi, and people and passengers can charge their phones while they travel.
So who are your ideal customers, and what's your rollout strategy?
Pardon?
What are your ideal customers, and what is the rollout strategy?
So the ideal customers are ones that are traveling, long distances. But I think people need their phone so much, even a short period of traveling, you'll be needing to charge your phone. So that will give the opportunity for passengers to do it from their seat.
And why is this a better solution than the portable chargers many of us bring with us now?
I think the portable solution is not really been used by everybody, and that also lasts only for a short time, and the taxi is already generating a lot of energy and power, and that goes to waste. And if that can be harvested and being used, that's what we've been trying to do.
Are you selling to the individual drivers or to the taxi companies, or how do you think about that?
So I've been running a pilot in Stellenbosch with 30 taxis, and we found that it's very hard to sell it to the individual taxi owner. So we need to get a big corporate or to go to the taxi associations and sell it to them as a group.
And the product is viable now, correct? And is it in pilot stage?
Yeah,
or?
so it's in the pilot phase, and we've got a fully functional and designed patent on it in South Africa. And so we've been testing it over the past year and to check its robustness in the taxi, and so far it's been keeping up very well.
Why is this a problem you wanted to solve? Why was this important to you?
So I've been going to Rwanda, Uganda, and all over Africa, and there's poverty, but there's also energy poverty, and that's something that Kaya Power is very passionate about, and to help marginalized communities having access to renewable and clean energy. So that's why it's very important for me to try and alleviate that energy poverty.
And tell us a bit about the price point of the product and what sort of reaction you've gotten to it so far.
So it's a very cheap product itself. We retail it for 650 rands, but there's an advertising opportunity on the taxi bar, which makes and generates income. We also managed to have a Wi-Fi router that's powered off it with a voucher platform, and we've got a tracker inside with the app. So there's various channels of income on the taxi bar.
What are your funding needs, and what are the use of your funds?
So I've been funding this myself, bootstrapping it over the past few months, and I hope to attract investments. Maybe Cell C, Vodacom, one of those big companies will come and help. Thank you.
Is there any competition for you?
Pardon?
Is there any competition, similar products?
There are competition, but I think there isn't a multi-charger that's so long and with the advertising platform available on the market.
Congrats on what you're doing. Manjeet?
My name is Manshay Sharma. I'm a 17-year-old high school entrepreneur from Pennsylvania in the United States, and I've co-founded a startup called Meet Here. Thank you. My startup, Meet Here, is based around an application that intends to solve the problems associated with meeting your friends. So you can spend hours looking for meeting locations. Often the meeting location is too far for one person but close to the other. Or you can, if it's a restaurant or a coffee shop, you spend a lot of time ordering your food. So Meet Here is an application where you input your friends' addresses. It finds the middle point between all those addresses and generates meeting locations around that point. So already we've solved a problem where you instantly have meeting locations at your fingertips. Additionally, the meeting locations are equidistant so that no one friend has to travel too far. And in the app itself, you can actually order your food or make a reservation in advance.
So we have to start with, you're 17. Is this your first startup?
This is our first startup that we've taken to this level. I'm here representing my startup because we were a finalist in the Startup Open competition.
Right. And what was the motivating factor for starting the company?
Sure. So the four of us, we're all high schoolers. We don't see entrepreneurship or engineering or business as a way to make money. We see it as a way to solve problems. So when our friends come to us and say, hey, we have this problem, you guys should write an app for it, or hey, this is a problem that we face every day, that's where we see entrepreneurship being the key to getting that solution out to the people that face this problem every day.
And what's the competition like for this app?
Sure. So there's plenty of other solutions out there that do generate equidistant meeting locations. However, our app is unique in the sense that you can actually generate meeting locations that are equidistant to an infinite amount of addresses. And additionally, we've cleaned up our UI so that it's easily available and easy to use for anyone.
So I have a 17-year-old, and I know what I'm going to be talking to them about after this meeting, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about how you, I mean, this is one of the great things for any app and consumer app, is how do you get the flywheel of audience? I mean, how do you possibly get this into people's hands, and how do you scale it up? How do you think people are going to discover you? How do you think it'll engage? Are there network effects to this? How do you think about it?
Sure. So there's been a lot of free marketing just by being in this competition. But additionally, we intend to get the app out by using apps that people already use. So this is an application where you can make meeting spots with your friends. So you generally interact with your friends on third-party messaging apps. So we're currently in talks with apps like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger to make Meet Here a widget that you can actually click and generate meeting locations instantly.
Do you have to talk to them, or could it be an API, or what's it, how much can you get without having to wait for anybody?
Sure. You can use an API, but in order to actually integrate it into the app, we are establishing connections with these companies.
Where do you hope to be at the end of this calendar year and into next year?
Well, currently we have the application out on the Android market and as a web app online, but we hope to get it out onto the iOS market first. And additionally, we hope to integrate it into third-party apps like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger by the end of this calendar year.
And anything further on funding with regard to what that looks like?
Sure. So our business model works because companies pay us ad revenue so that they end up on the application on the map so that people are seeing their company. In terms of funding, we could use funding in terms of marketing the application. If we get into the hands of more users, our app becomes more valuable and the companies end up paying us more to advertise on our application. So in terms of funding, marketing the app and getting it in front of more users, that's where we would apply that.
Have you talked to any advertisers yet? Have you talked to any potential people who would pay for you?
Well, the way the advertising works is the Google Maps API on our application automatically takes the advertising revenue from the company.
You're rolling out in the United States, but do you have plans to be overseas,
Well, it's
Africa?
Sure, it's available. We're based out of the United States, but it's available on the Google Play Store and on the internet. So our main markets are in the United States, India, and Europe, but it is available internationally.
Okay.
Do you have traction now that has surprised you? Have people discovered you yet?
Yeah, we have traction. Our Android app has around 100 downloads and around 400 people use our web application.
So early, okay. Great to listen to you, man. Congratulations on that. Carolina?
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, so my name is Carolina Medina. I am from Colombia, and I'm representing Agrupa. Agrupa is a for-profit social business that's addressing one of the most pressing issues that humanity is and will be facing, and that's access to affordable fruits and vegetables. The way we address this is basically by optimizing the current fruit and vegetable supply chain between the farm and the small grocery stores or mom and pop shops that exist in the city. We're basically creating a virtual buying group among these shops by leveraging simple mobile technology that's already in their hands. So we're aggregating their demand for fruits and vegetables into daily collective orders and generating enough information that allows us to buy in bulk at the farm, bring to the city, and deliver to their shops at wholesale prices. And just so you get an idea, there's around 4 to 5 middlemen between the farm and the city, and around a 45% increase in price. So by optimizing the supply chain, we're actually, connecting farmers to a huge market in the city, making the mom and pop shops business a lot more profitable, and also making fresh fruits and vegetables affordable to everyone living in low-income neighborhoods around the world.
This is such an enormous problem that you're describing, and I bet you everyone here from Africa understands exactly what this is. In fact, there's a wonderful company in Nairobi that's doing something like this. But to optimize the supply chain sounds very easy, but could you just give a sense of how unbelievable, what complexity you're getting into to be able to make this happen? I mean, how do you optimize a supply chain with all this sort of friction?
Yeah, definitely. Twiga is a great
that's what I
company
was
in
thinking
Kenya
about.
as well. They have a little bit of a different business model. They're doing credit thanks to M-Pesa, which is great in Africa that this is actually happening. In Colombia, the situation is a little bit different. SMS messages aren't that huge. So we're going to have to optimize using different sorts of technology. We've actually created 3 different channels so that mom and pop shops can communicate with us every single day and place their orders for fruits and vegetables. So depending on how much of a tech expert they are, whether they have a smartphone or not, they can choose to use our app, they can choose to use a call center, simple as that. They can SMS if they want to, or they can even place an order with the distribution transportation guys that are going around every single day. So that's the start of our chain. We're aggregating demand, and that allows us to collect data. We've been selling for over a year. We now have 250 shops, which allows us to actually collect around 20 to 30 tons of fruits and vegetables per week. So this, in fact, has allowed us to buy in bulk at the farm, which is another huge process, bring to the city, another huge process, and then actually store and distribute out to each shop as they order. We currently have 20 products. I know there's a lot of opportunities to include non-perishables, even more perishables, and hopefully to open the doors to just more efficient supply chains, eventually not only for farmers and mom and pop shops, but for any industry.
But Twiga learned that every fruit and every vegetable has its own unbelievably often painful dynamic, and you're talking about all these products. I mean, so how are you making this happen? Really, the hands dirty part on the ground. The mobile stuff is easy.
Yeah.
How are you making the hands dirty stuff happen?
I think the key to any startup is to have the right team in place, and that's how we're making it happen.
Who's your team?
We have a team of 4 executives and then 30 people underneath us who are also from the base of the pyramid and are experts on what they're doing. Specifically on the procurement end, we have 2 buyers who have over 15 years of experience each, procuring different fruits and vegetables directly at the farm. So they know how to negotiate with farmers, they know their situations, they know their dreams, they know their needs, and they know about the product, so they can also match supply and demand effectively.
How did you become interested in this idea?
Well, it actually started because I was working previously in food security at the FAO and the United Nations, and realized that it wasn't really a matter of food access. Fruits and vegetables are arriving to low-income neighborhoods in all cities in the world. The fact is that they're arriving at very high prices. So in studying the supply chain, my co-founder and I, we realized that the inefficiency had a face of an opportunity, and this was the mom and pop shops. They're currently selling around 70% of the food that moves around our region. So despite this huge power that they have very inefficient chains and not very successful businesses. So if you could leverage the power of existing micro-entrepreneurs at the base of the pyramid and join that with existing technology, then it's like it was using the power of economics to solve a huge issue, I feel.
And you're rolling out in what geographies, and what's your rollout plan look like?
So we currently are only operating in Bogota, in the capital city of Colombia, and only in the south of Bogota. Just to give you an idea of the market opportunity, there's 500,000 mom and pop shops only in Colombia. We estimate around 5 million in Latin America, and I'm sure you've all seen mom and pop shops here in Africa as well. So there's a worldwide opportunity for this. Our rollout plan is to stay local for at least another year, grow nationally, and then hopefully take it internationally. I think our main priority will be Latin America for now, but it's great to see how every time we take our idea and share it in other places of the world, there are people interested in picking it up and replicating it.
Very quickly, how much do you want to raise right now?
So we're closing our seed capital round and have a small investment opportunity left of $100,000.
You just need 100,000 now. Fantastic. Mwande?
Hello. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Mwande Pongose, and I come from a company called GEC Live. So basically what we do is we've created a paperless workforce management solution primarily for the security industry. So basically we use smartphones, rugged smartphones that we give to your workforce, and then that allows real-time communication between the control rooms and the people that are on site. Yeah. So that's what we do.
And where are you located, and where are you rolling this out?
We're located here in Johannesburg and in KZN as well. Yeah. So it's pretty much local so far. We're going to be launching in April. So we were prototyping with Bidvest Puerto Coin. So they're one of the largest security companies in Africa. They invited us to actually build our solution using their real workforce. So yeah.
On the competitive side, are there others doing similar things?
Actually, our competition is made up of a lot of different on-site tools. So basically, guards use many different tools to do their day-to-day jobs. So we basically integrated all these different solutions and put it onto the application for one price. So yeah, we're one of the first people to actually do that.
And how are you funded so far?
It's been very hard, actually.
Oh.
But we were funded by Standard Bank to actually build the system. So we were able to get like a third-party development house to build the system for us. And now we're looking to raise some money to actually launch, yeah.
How
Okay.
big a problem is this in South Africa alone? How big does this get, do you think?
Well, South Africa has one of the largest security industries in the world. And basically, it's very slow in terms of technology adaptation, like the growth rate of that. So everything has been very based on paper form methods. And then managing security guards in South Africa has been a very hard task. And they've found that some of these guards would be sleeping or on site or really not doing anything. Some clock in and then just leave right after that. So it's a very big problem. And also, in terms of government, they fail to really monitor this industry as well. So we are trying to almost use that data to understand the market better and also help the private security regulators to be able to understand their market as well. Yeah.
Congratulations, it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck
you.
to you and overall.
Yeah, well done.
Simba, bring us home.
Hi, I'm Simbarasha Chimandamba, and I'm a new age South African farmer. I'm a co-founder and grower for a business called Urban Grown Organics. And 2 years ago, my wife and I looked at a particular skill set that we had. She's a financial accountant turned marketer, and I'm a marketer. So we roped in a hotelier and an agronomist, and we built the brand Urban Grown, within which we are an agricultural and agro-processing business. And our model is unique. We grow 60% of our own produce out in deep slit, and we source 40% carefully sourced from smallholder farmers who naturally do not have access to market or to funding or to the infrastructure.
Great. Go ahead, Chris.
So tell me a little bit why, you were telling me about this in the room before, but tell folks, why are you doing this? Why is this a problem you want to solve?
We've managed to adopt technology in our ways of farming, and the reason why we're doing this is we strongly feel agriculture is probably one of the most, if not, it's probably one of the best industries you can bring somebody in without a skill, and by the time they're done, in a year or two, they have acquired a skill which allows them to market themselves better, to acquire a better job, and by so doing, you're increasing the possibility of getting above the poverty datum line. But most importantly for us, the use of technology in agriculture is because we are farming in 2017 to a generation that is so driven by technology. We have to use technology in our forms of agriculture. That's why hydroponics is appealing to us.
What has excited you most technologically that's allowing you to do what you want to do?
What's excited us, it's just the innovation that is taking place in the agricultural space. You have South African inventors that are reinventing irrigation systems that are able to sense soil moisture and know how much to water your plant. This allows you to use 95% less water. As farmers, we consider ourselves as brand custodians of the environment, and to adopt methods that allow us to, to farm sustainably is what really excites us the most. It's the sustainability aspect of our agriculture.
Where are you based?
We're based out in Deep Slit, which makes it significantly convenient. We're very passionate about the environment and creating jobs. We've created 11 jobs in the Deep Slit area, which is an informal settlement. The other important thing is, because we're urban farmers, the produce is actually farmed where it is consumed, reducing the carbon footprint. We supply British Airways, Kulula, City Lodge Hotel Group, and in retail, you'll find us in Food Lovers Market. So,
yeah, that's great. Yeah. And tell us a little bit about how you've been funded and what your funding needs will be going forward.
The funding journey has been extremely difficult and yet rewarding. I am now of the belief you do not need to have capital, you do not need to have money to prove your concept. You just really need to partner yourself with the right individuals, with the right corporates, with the right government entity, with the right partner. And after we went through that, we then realized that we needed to put in our own personal resources into funding the business. So we took off, we bootstrapped. I sold my Jeep and I bought a truck. And from there, we got City Lodge Hotel Group. Much later, a year into us running our business, City Lodge Hotel Group then brought us on as an enterprise development project. So we are a living testament that enterprise development is successful in South Africa. And I think we need to start looking that way. Personally, I believe it will also give the government entities a run for their money, and it's a fantastic thing because I think we've got systems in place that have allowed corporate South Africa to come on and support small businesses such as myself and the Urban Growing team.
Right. Fantastic.
Phenomenal. I wish we could spend an hour with all of you. I mean, it's just very exciting to hear about the problems that you're solving in big and interesting ways. But unfortunately, we are out of time. But Jeff, people, you don't know this. If someone said earlier that if you really have to give everything to Africa, you have to give an arm and a leg if you want to really be here and participate in everything else. Jeff gave a leg. He injured himself just an hour ago. And any observations you'd want to share with this group?
I just think this is so impressive, right? I mean, all six of you have come up with such interesting ideas, solving a problem, and you're executing well, and I have a lot of confidence in your future success.
I couldn't be more inspired by you all. It's just been an honor to be with you guys. So thank you all, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.